Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Fong from Lotus Media, and today on this video, I would like to tell you 5 mistakes that a photographer do that they can improve on so that they can get more clients and improve on their photography. I was once a beginner in photography, so I did all these 5 no-nos, and now I'm going to help you to improve your photography so that you don't make that mistake again. First off, your camera. What I want you guys to know is I don't want you guys to be stuck on gear. So, number one mistake is that you guys think the more expensive gear, the better you're going to take better photos, take better videos. That's a big mistake, because if that's the case, every new version of every camera, every new model that comes out, you're going to end up going in a deep cycle, in a bad, deep rabbit hole of keep buying gear, and you're going to spend so much money, and you're wondering why you're not making that much money, because all of it is used on gear. Yes, gear does help, but it's not really the gear that gives you good quality. It is you knowing your gear and how to solve certain situations that makes you a better photographer, a better videographer. So, like, what I'm trying to say is understand the fundamentals, understand exposure, understand the 3 things that make exposure: aperture, ISO, shutter speed. Understand lighting, understand lighting placements, understanding your camera features, what are its pros and what are its cons, what are its weaknesses and what are its strengths. Like, for example, if your camera is bad and it's not equipped to shoot low light or nighttime shots, instead of, oh, I need to buy a camera that can do that, but even if you buy that camera and it can do that, but if you don't understand what settings to set for those situations or lighting and everything, then you're still going to have the same result as if you're using your old equipment. To me, like, you need to think, okay, if I'm shooting in low light, my settings are not meant for low light shooting, so there's only 2 solutions for that: get more light into the scene, or add other stuff to it, or set my setting to this and adding light at the same time. Is more of problem solving than just randomly buying gear. So, first things first is understanding the fundamentals and then knowing your equipment. And then once you know all that and you're really good at what you do, but you're reaching a plateau and you feel like you can push over another level, that's the point where you need to buy new gear. But at the beginning, you don't need to buy new gear. Second is thinking that you can buy one lens and it can do everything for you. Or, oh, if I buy a good quality lens, then it's going to do the job for me. But what a lot of photographers and stuff don't realize is that certain lens do certain things. Like, I have right here the 50 millimeter, the Nifty 50. It's very versatile, distance wise, uh, blur background, good aperture and everything. Like for example, the lens that I'm using on this camera right here is the 10 to 20 millimeter. Very good wide angle, but it's very limited. Like you can't shoot at a certain distance past the lens limit and it's gonna look off or whatever. So that's why a lot of us professional photographers say that, hey, the 50, the 85, and then the 35, those three are good for portraits. The 20 to 70 millimeters, you can get that full range. Also, there's a good ones if you're in a wedding and stuff and you don't want to change your lens constantly. You can use the 20 to the 77. You can get all that range that I just said from 35 to 85. And then the last one is the 70 to 300 or 70 to 200. That way you can have the long distance and you can zoom in and everything. So you need to know what you're trying to shoot, what kind of um, projects you're doing, so you can buy the lens according to it. You just don't buy a lens based off of what anybody says. You do your research and stuff. That way it will help you a lot more. It's nothing worse than you having the wrong lens for the wrong situation, and then you have to work so hard in post to try to fix things. So that's number 2. Number 3 is pretty much lighting. Um, Lighting, just make sure that, don't think that, hey, I need the most expensive light there is, or you need to get a certain brand or anything. You can use an everyday light LED light bulb that has daylight Kelvin settings, or the warmer color settings. The most important thing is knowing where to place it, how you tell the story with the light. That's the most important thing. Um, don't just think that you can just place it anywhere as long as you lighting up your um, content, then you're good. Certain lightings are not good in certain situation. You're trying to take away highlights, you're trying to take away shadows and everything like that. So that's another thing you guys need to learn. In photography, uh, the fourth thing is, when you're working with models, um, the most important thing is, I see a lot of photographer makes, is not giving guidance to their model. Like, yes, you don't want to be a tyrant and tell them to do every little thing, but give them a clear picture of what you want, and then make them feel comfortable enough that they can be in that moment and then pose for you. And then if the pose is off by a little bit, you can tweak it while it's happening. There's no point in making your model uncomfortable and you just telling it, no, pose this way, pose that way. Then they're gonna have a bad experience, and you could lose yourself a good model. So don't be doing that. And the fifth thing is, when you're taking photos, don't just like do burst shots, like like as if like taking 10 photos at the same time and then hoping you capture a good one in there. Every picture that you take, you need to take with intent, planning, and almost perfect execution in every single shot, so that you have a lot of good shots to choose from, and you only have a little bit amount of time spent to just fix them real quick. If you just do a burst shooting, and then out of the 50 some shots that you just take rapidly, one looks so good, not only do you have to work twice as hard to edit that one to make it up to par, but you have to dig through all those other 40 some photos that are bad, and it's just a waste of time and everything. So while you're taking a photo, sit there, plan, making sure everything's good. If everything's not good, take it with intent. Don't just don't just take it. And what looks pretty on your LCD screen will look different from your viewfinder also. So look it through your viewfinder first, then look it through your LCD, and then once you like what you see, then you're good. Don't just rely on one source. Always remember that. So that's it for today's video. That's 5 things that can help you guys improve and certain things not to do. So I hope you liked the video today. Make sure you subscribe and click on the bell to get new notifications. And I hope y'all have a good day. Keep creating and keep being the best of your version of yourself, okay? All right, peace.